Hello, I'm Mabel Jong, and I'd like to welcome to the studio today Ben Wald, who is of Changemakers. And back in 2008, Ben, I understand you were named by Businessweek as one of the 25 most promising young entrepreneurs, and you've turned your attention now to the healthcare space.
Yes.
Why is that?
I think it's an exciting area of opportunity. There is so much opportunity, and health really sits as a core building block of where we're going to go into the future as it relates to society, as it relates to happiness, as it relates to consumer trends. So it's really at the center point of a lot of the different opportunities and game-changing innovations that we're seeing.
Are we too focused, however, on some of the problems to really look at the innovations that are still to come? There are a lot of infrastructural issues that need to be addressed first, perhaps, before we look at the next big thing. Would you agree with that?
I think that there are definitely infrastructure issues. I also think that infrastructure issues can be trumped by literally some of the paradigm-shifting technology that will rip apart old monolithic institutions and organizations. And we're seeing it in every industry, the music industry, the manufacturing industry, academia. There are destabilizing forces that I think older architecture can try their best to cling on, but it really won't stand up to the tidal wave of new innovation.
What specifically is Changemakers working on in this space?
Sure. Well, I would take a quick step back and say one of the big trends that I see in healthcare is that the entire body of medical knowledge is doubling every 5 years, which is that we're facing kind of a unique challenge in that it's not necessarily about content creation now, it's about understanding the content that's been created. So in order to understand and unpack the new knowledge that this field has, we need tools. And one of those tools that Changemakers is working on is a platform called Change Shops. And this is going to allow every individual, every innovator who's working on a healthcare problem to post their solution, their idea, essentially create a store for their change where they can talk about their milestones, their goals, their needs in order to scale, and providing that connective tissue to allow people to come together to create leveraged ecosystems is something really fascinating.
What is the ecosystem going to be comprised of, and what will keep it living and breathing and working efficiently?
Sure. Well, I think if we look at online user behavior and platform dynamics, we have to realize that without incentives, nothing happens. And part of the problem is that people build these great tools and then forget that you have to incentivize people to use these tools. One of our kind of stable products that's been with us for the last 6 years has been our competition model. So Changemakers has run over 50 collaborative competitions solving some of the most wicked challenges around the world. And that competition model is the core driver inside our platform. So we feel that competition is a great way actually to keep an ecosystem thriving. Giving
great minds the incentive to win at a competition may in the end result in a solution for some problem. Can you give me an example of what you've been able to achieve with that?
Sure, and I would add a slight detail, and that's that our competitions are called collaborative competitions. And the reason is that every time somebody creates an entry, it becomes published online, and anybody can read it, including all the other competition entrants. So actually the most powerful piece of our competition model is not necessarily the winners, it's the collaboration that happens between the entrants. And an example of that is oftentimes we find that somebody may have a distribution network and somebody has a new solution that can plug right into it. Or two people have very similar organizations solving similar problems except in different areas, and they can join forces to make it much better. I think that the other piece that we do a really good job of is identifying some of the world's best innovations, and one of them is, an example is Project Echo, which is led by Dr. Sanjeev Arora, came to our Changemakers competition, won the competition, and then Robert Wood Johnson Foundation invested several $1 million into the project to help it scale globally.
Interesting. Well, we hope to hear more about that through the Changemakers website and future competitions.
Yes.
Great. Well, thank you so much for stopping by, Ben.
Thank you.
I'm Mabel Jong. Thanks for watching.